I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to NNSCRA TV's coverage of the second race of the 7th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series, live from Manasas, track that has been the mainstay second race of the season ever since the inception of the Duracell Cup Series. It's going to be the first of 3 2-mile ovals that will be at this season. The only one that doesn't play a huge part into the outcome of a champion, but it's definitely going to play a part nonetheless, just maybe not as flamboyant as the other two. This racetrack has always brought about exciting finishes, sometimes pit strategy, and usually a surprise winner. Will we see another one here today? Not sure if you can top last week. Last week in the Daytona 500, history was made as a non-charter driver in Matthew Rodriguez went to victory lane, capturing his first career checkered flag in the Great American Race under the Duracell Cup Series banner. And subsequently, a lot of stuff has taken place involving Matthew Rodriguez, which we'll document a little bit later on in this race. We documented quite a bit of it yesterday during pole day qualifying. If you didn't tune into that, you'll be informed of what's happening with Matt Rod during the course of the remainder of Season 7. But it should be a good one here today. We'll wait and see what happens as these 42 cars are getting ready to roll off the grid. They will be behind the Twix Toyota out of Auto Junction Racing, as it's going to be Ryan Brommer capturing his first pole of the season. Top 10 obviously moved into the final round of qualifying, and Ryan Brommer came in last minute with a blistering lap time that completely annihilated the other 9 that moved on to that final round. And so right now, things looking good for Toyota. That manufacturer for the last 3-4 seasons has been vastly outnumbered. Basically, Haas Racing and Auto Junction Racing have done everything they can to keep the Camrys alive in Duracell Cup Series, and they've done a heck of a job. And they're picking right up where they left off last year and the year prior with very dominant Camrys. Alongside of him is going to be Rob Evans. Evans going to be on the outside of the front row. Rob Evans and Ryan Brommer, both of these drivers, if you look at them after what happened with them at Daytona, both of them are looking to gain quite a bit of points back. Rob Evans ended up finishing in the, if I can find him on the point standings here, I saw his name and then I just lost it. 12th position. Now, obviously, you got to be in the top 10 in points at the conclusion of the regular season to be eligible for a playoff position if you don't have a victory. Rob could today, maybe with his first career victory, be able to do just that. And Ryan Brommer, I just saw Ryan Butcher. There's Brommer, 34th in points. Very early on the season, a good finish, a win, could vault you up multiple spots, even double-digit spots in the standings if you can get it done. Had a couple of drivers that were able to race their way in on speed, those being the 80 of Matthew Rodriguez and the 4 of rookie Kyler Sustre. They actually advanced into the Fast 10 to compete for the pole position. The driver that failed to make the race this week was Jordan Lopez in the 82 out of Blue Oval Automotive, a team that actually has taken 2 checkered flags here in the past at Manasas. But let's go down trackside. Let's get those most famous words in motorsports and get ready for what's going to be a good 70-lap shootout. Well, not shootout, but race here at Manasas.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
42.
For the first segment. We shouldn't really be in danger of overheating, but it will, probably get up to about 220, so just keep an eye on that.
Talking over the spotters there. 42 engines fire behind the Toyota Camry pace car. And right side of your screen, you will see the starting lineup for today's event. I'll keep an eye on the Blue Ovals, the Ford Mustangs, because 6 races we've had here, and all 6 races have been won by a driver sporting a Ford logo. Jose Mills, Dylan Young, Chris Dallerton, and Mitchell Collins amongst those that are in the field here today. Trey Wright and William Micros, also former winners here. All the teams that they drove for sported Fords. Trey Wright and Jose Mills, they were for Blue Oval Automotive. Dylan Young for Young Motorsports. Chris Dallerton and Mitchell Collins for Michael Norman Motorsports. And William Micros for KAB Racing Enterprises. So can Ford make it 7 in a row? Or will Toyota, Chevrolet, even Dodge, we've got a Dodge and Jessica Shelton back there. Mazda, can they break into victory lane for the first time ever in Duracell Next Gen Cup Series history? We'll find out. Also a little aside, yes I know, I had Jessica Shelton qualifying for the race yesterday in the 02. We've made the correction. I forgot she was in the Project Dodge. She's in the 94 here for this race, and I will try and make mental note of that in next week's qualifying session at Las Vegas. But here we go! Green flag in the air, and we're underway at Manasas Speedway. A lot of drivers ran well in the Great American Race last week. A lot of drivers struggled. They'll look to use Manasas as a springboard, get some momentum, gain back points that they may have lost last week. Dead heat down the back straightaway, inside of Brommer, outside of Rob Evans, neither lane giving an inch. Now we see a little advantage on the inside through 3 and 4. Looks like Ryan Brommer is going to forge ahead, and he will lead the first lap of this race as Evan tries charging back on the top side. Quentin Moore in his second full-time season on the bottom line there, battling for third with Matthew Rodriguez. Reggie Fogelman there as well, completing the top 5. 3 wide further back, Matt Haas put in the middle. Saw Carson Gum on the bottom. Couldn't tell who that car was on the outside. May have been Connor Breton as they're 3 wide ahead of them now. Levi McIntyre put in the middle with Mitchell Collins and Kyle Matthews. They'll settle that out. Look at the movement up here at the front. Kyler Sustry in the 4. Going to move into second place 3 wide as Quentin Moore led that lap in the Buc-ee's Chevrolet Camaro. And Sustry now going to go out in front. Sustry did not make the Daytona 500 last week, so he is out in front for the first time in his career. Let's see if he can get a first lap lead. Michael Norman, 3-time winner last season, has something to say about that. Right behind him, his teammate and the defending winner of this race, Mitchell Collins in the 33. And that M&M connection is going to have the 33 and the 22 cross the line first and second, but it will be Collins who gets the point. Don't think passing is going to be all that difficult today. Mitchell Collins was 10th last time by and crossed the line in first. We gained 10 positions in 1 lap. As there's the guy that came up 1 position short last week at Daytona, Jesse Turner. Second place to Matthew Rodriguez, subsequently second in points. Great start to the year for him. And looking to continue to build off of it, as Jesse Turner failed to make the playoffs last season, and he's usually been a contender in the playoffs season after season. Last year was a bit of a down year for him. It's a bit of a down year for Lake Effect Autosport overall, really, to be perfectly honest. Benjamin Snyder got close to a couple of victories, but finished pretty low in the points. And Reese Banks, yeah, he got that victory at Talladega, but he also finished way down in the point standings. A little bit better of a start there this season for the collective team, with Turner second place, Reese Banks 15th in the point standings. Casey Hoyt, the rookie out of that team, was 23rd. Benjamin Miles in the 25. Saw him have that great run at the Slinger Speedway during the Clash. Thought that maybe, just maybe, they were going to have a much better season than last year, where they spent pretty much the entirety of Season 6 dead last in points. Well, he didn't get a great finish last week at Daytona. Finished in 30th. Subsequently, that's where he is in the standings, but qualified well. And now trying to see if he can get up here to the front and go to victory lane for the first time in, I think, 3 seasons. I think Season 4 was the last time Benjamin Miles found victory lane. Matthew Rodriguez to his inside. Matthew Rodriguez, as we mentioned, a lot of stuff in the works in the last 7 days after he went to victory lane as a non-charter driver in the Daytona 500. Now, the ruling is that you have to be inside of the top 30 in the point standings for a win to potentially count towards a wild card spot or top 10 in overall standings. Well, Matthew Rodriguez, it was announced, is going to be signed for all of the vacant races in the 80 car. There will be multiple drivers that will be in that machine for other races, including Benny Watson, Roberto Crown Jr., David Dixon's rumored to be racing a couple of races. But the races that were not filled prior to last week, Matthew Rodriguez will drive all of those in the 80. The rides that are already taken in those specific weeks, as we got a battle for the lead between teammates Nathan Ormond and Mitchell Collins. But Matthew Rodriguez will be moving over to Bishop Family Racing's number 17 Ford Mustang. The Ford Mustang that Mike Tellier put in the top 5 last week in the 500. So Matthew Rodriguez is going to run the full season. He'll just be with a collection of a few teams in order to do so in his attempt to stay up inside of the top 10. Granted, he's going to have to qualify into the race every single week. If he misses out in a week, that's going to be valuable points that he's going to lose out on. Destin Bolin now moving into the race lead. Well, so far, aside from Ryan Brommer, I think every other lap has been led by a Ford. Bolin led a lap, Mitchell Collins led a number of laps, Nathan Ormond led a number of laps there, and now Cole Deaver going to be the first Chevrolet, I believe, that's going to get a lap led. Deaver, top 10 last week at Daytona. Really strong in qualifying the first 2 weeks. He was on the outside of the front row for the Great American Race, qualified in the top 10 here at Manasas. And a lot of times, just good qualifying effort can translate into whether you're going to have a good race or not. Deaver did not have good qualifying numbers last year, and subsequently his finishes were not good either. As Joshua Osborne is going to edge out rookie Will Goss for that lap led. Cody Lamas right there, you see him in the middle line. Cody is dead last in points coming to this race, and just kitty-cornered him on the bottom there. Third car on the bottom is Kyle Matthews. He is 41st. So I mentioned about drivers that are really looking to bounce back. You got Joshua Osborne leading. He's 39th in points. Nathan Ormond was out in front. He's 38th. Levi McIntyre in second. He's 36th. You think these drivers don't realize the pressure they're in after the subsequent dismal finishes last week at Daytona? They definitely do. They want to get up here to the front. They want to stay at the front. They want to get that checkered flag. As who led that lap? Scoring says it was Osborne over McIntyre, but it couldn't have been by much. There's the defending champ, Charles Sanford. Sanford made it into the playoffs last year via a win, but it was very late in the regular season. He does not want to do that again. He wants to lock himself up a spot to defend that championship ASAP, as he's got his teammate Jessica Schulten in that Project Dodge right behind him in the 94. Took a little bit of time for our ticker to update, but it was 4 1,000s. Joshua Osborne got Levi McIntyre at the line last time by, and Jessica Schulten is going to lead that lap. I do not believe, I'm going to double check here, but I do not believe Jessica Schulten had led a lap last week at Daytona. No, she did not. So that is the first lap led for the Project Dodge Intrepid here in Season 7. That's now rookie Connor Breton out in front. Here comes Michael Norman down on the inside in the 22. Michael looking for a season much like last year, where he ended up picking up 3 checkered flags, and Ryan Brommer has brought his teammate Ryan Butcher up to the front, the pole sitter. It only took him about 14 laps to drift back and then move his way back up to the front. There's Dylan Poteet, who started in the final row with Nick Gunther. I saw Nick was up inside the top 10 not too long ago. Now he's drifted mid-pack, but Dylan Poteet who started 41st on the grid. Now he's up here battling for the lead. You actually got your front row up inside the top 5 again, with Brommer in the 87 up on the top there battling for the lead, and Rob Evans, third car on the inside line behind Reggie Fogelman. Battling right now for 4th position with Michael Norman as we take it 3 wide to the stripe. Pote led that lap. And Reggie Fogelman will take the lead going into turn number 1. I don't want to jinx anything, obviously, but Manasas has, for the most part, been known to have long green flag runs, and usually things come down to pit strategy. These drivers will only have to pit once here today. Fuel window projected is about 50 laps. I think maybe with the CTS physics, we can expect to be somewhere around 45 laps they can make it on a tank, so not quite halfway through a fuel run just now, as Chris Dollerton, former winner here at Manasas, will move into 2nd place behind Rob Evans. Chris Dollerton was 22nd in the 500 last week, a race that he had also formerly won 1 season ago. Ryan Butcher getting taken 3 wide here by Cody Lamas in the 84. Just trying to think of drivers. I'm not all that familiar with every driver in the field's particular home state, but there are a couple of drivers here I think that this could be considered a home track for them. Anthony McCrory is a resident Virginian, and I believe, at least in my quick general knowledge, that is the only driver I am aware of. There may be some others, but there's some drivers that last season didn't know and this season didn't know. So not certain if we do have other Virginians in the field here today. Next week we're heading to the West Coast. Even the Duracell Ultralight Series drivers will be back for our doubleheader at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll have pole day qualifying next Saturday, as that was a little close there. Destin Bolin trying to throw the block on Levi McIntyre, and Levi said no, no, no. So next Saturday afternoon will be pole day qualifying from Las Vegas for the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers. And then that evening will be the second race of the season for the Duracell Ultralight Series drivers. And then Sunday, it's third race of the season for the Duracell drivers. But we'll be seeing who will be going into that one as the defending winner on the year at the conclusion of this one. Speaking of Anthony McCrory, there he is, the Black Magic Design Mazda, trying to make his way up into the top 10, following in the tire tracks of Dylan Young, the Wawa Ford Mustang. Looking 4 wide here going into turn 1, and we are 4 wide. We're 3 wide up ahead for the race lead. Mitchell Collins trying to go back to the point. And, we got that settled out off of turn 2. That was a tight corner. Things narrow up after you come off the banking, but they made it work. Kyle Matthews looked like he might have let Dylan Young back in to avoid what could have been a very hairy situation had it carried over onto the back straightaway and into turn 3. Mitchell Collins back to the point. So far, he's led the most laps. That was his 6th lap led. Rob Evans has led 4. Joshua Osborne and Levi McIntyre have led 2. All the other drivers that have led laps have only led 1. But remember when I said 6 races, 6 different winners, all Ford Mustang drivers here at Manasas? Look at our top 3. Blue oval, blue oval, blue oval. Collins was a 2-time winner last season, but the 2 drivers behind him, Levi McIntyre and Dylan Young, they went winless. So it's been over a season winless streak for them. They'd love to break back into the winner's circle if they could. One driver that is struggling, and we're going to try and see if we can figure out all what's going on, is Jose Mills in the 38. He is right now running nearly 20 seconds behind the race leader. He crosses the line now. The leader's going into turn 3, so he is more than half a lap down. let's see if there's any speed differential. Now, obviously, he's not in draft. I mean, the leaders are going almost 203, 204, almost 205 into the corner. Jose Mills is going 189. Can't tell if that car sounds a little bit flat, might be down on power. That's a tough break there for Jose Mills, who didn't have a great start to the year. He finished 32nd last week at Daytona. And the guy who won the very first race here at Manasas back in Season 1 with struggles. Looks like he might need a caution so they can diagnose whatever the issue is and maybe have him up to speed and competitive again. More so, they need that caution so he can stay on the lead lap. Though, granted, we do have lucky dogs. We do have free passes. So, if necessary, the 38 would be eligible for a lucky dog, a free pass, and be able to make his way around. Well, Mitchell Collins continues to show the way as we are nearly 25 laps into today's event. Michael Norman, Levi McIntyre, and then Caleb Fogler and Dylan Young, I believe, were the top 5 when we crossed the line. All Ford Mustangs currently inside of the top 5 here as we'll step aside for a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back here to the action in Manasas, Virginia. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Lap 27 goes on the board. Lap 26 completed here at Manasas Speedway. Mitchell Collins continues to show the way. Has had a very strong Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang so far, as he's the only driver to have led double-digit laps. His teammate, Michael Norman, right behind him in second, and got some new players up here at the front of the field. Kyler Sustre now back up here to the front. Kyler Sustre trying to get his first points in the season, his first rookie points. Mike Tellier going to lose the rookie points lead after this week, as obviously he was the highest finishing rookie in the 500. Will Goss, Casey Hoyt, and Connor Breton were the respective order behind him for the rookies. Goss, Hoyt, and Breton all separated by 2 points. It'll be between them really as to who's going to be the rookie points leader when we get to the West Coast Las Vegas race next week. And here you see the 38 of Jose Mills has been reeled in by the leaders. Kyler Sustre going to try and use the 38 as a pick on the front straightaway. And Collins, oh man, nearly got spun off the nose of Ryan Brommer, who was not going to lift. Austin LaPlante's going to take advantage of this, as is Cole Deaver. Here comes Daniel Voiles in the 26 as well, 2-time winner last year. Aside from Jose Mills, who's now going to go a lap down, everybody else is up in this lead pack. All the way back to right now, Anthony McCurry, RJ Bishop, Dylan Pote, Matt McIntyre. Those are some of the few that are currently at the tail end of the field. As Austin LaPlante's going to get a lap led there in the 48. LaPlante 18th last week in the 500. We talked about, especially during the Daytona 500 weekend, what a down year Season 6 was for the Northeast Motorsports team, aside from Jack Dunnard making it into the Final Four, compete for the championship. But there you see the driver that replaced him here in Season 7, Connor Breton, now looking to move his way into the race lead. Breton was 33rd in his Duracell Cup Series debut last week at Daytona. And now to his inside, the Club 100 sponsored Toyota Camry of Matt Haas, who is looking to make it back-to-back weeks that a Haas Racing Toyota finds victory lane the first 2 races of the season. Matt Haas was 40th at Daytona last week. Remember, though, Matt Haas was up there in the conversation for the points lead near the end of last year's regular season. would have definitely been in the playoffs. He would have been locked in if he had found victory lane during the regular season. He did win, but it was during the playoffs, so too little too late. Reese Banks there in the 44. Remember how last year Dylan Poteet said that we could really expect things at the beginning of the year out of Laura Chung? I'm making a prediction that this is going to be a breakout year for Reese Banks. Just what I've seen out of him here in the first couple of weeks of Season 7, been really, really impressed with this second-year driver. Yeah, he got that win last year at Talladega. It was near the end of the season. I think that things started finally coming together for him at that point. Then we go to the Slinger race, the Clash. He ends up qualifying in after spinning out in his qualifying heat. He brings it home in second, and then he qualified well for the Daytona 500 and brings it home with a top 15 run. I think Reese Banks, even though it's his second full-time season, I think we could be looking at a driver right there that potentially could make the playoffs. As his team owner, Jesse Turner, now to the point. Rob Evans going to challenge him for that spot down the back straightaway. Nearing about 15 laps away from when these drivers will have to start thinking about making pit road. Do not want to get caught speeding, because if things continue to trend green the way they have since the start of this race, you're not going to have enough time to be able to gain all that track position back. Going to be very interested to see how this season goes for Nathan Orman there in the 23. He had a really good season back in Season 4, I believe it was, when he drove for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Found victory lane, I believe it was a couple of times when the team was with Dodge. But then he's kind of bounced around. He last year was in an effort with KB Racing Enterprises, nothing really all that flashy. Now he moves over to Michael Norman Motorsports, which was a team that last year had all 4 of its drivers go to victory lane at least once. Norman went to victory lane 3 times, twice for Mitchell Collins. So, you know, big opportunity there for Nathan Norman. Might be the biggest organization that he's been at since Joanna Atwood Motorsports, and we'll see what he's able to do with the opportunity as Joshua Osborne was looking to lead that lap, but now a couple of Chevrolets gang up on him, Connor Breton and Austin LaPlante. There's Carson Gum, first time we mentioned him today. Carson Gum, that very visible tri-blue Chevrolet. As I believe we've got an issue for Matt McIntyre. All of a sudden, he is slow. He's on the front straightaway. Oh, we got it. Oh, no, it's actually Daniel Voiles has blown up. Is this going to bring out a caution is the question. The engine has gone south on the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Ford, and I think that's going to, I think we're going to have a yellow flag here. Car decreasing speed. Look out, Matt McIntyre coming in. Ooh. Surprised that race officials haven't thrown the yellow yet. Oh, can we please throw a caution here or have the 26 teleport? Oh, no. No. We're not doing this. We are not doing this. Oh, okay, thank goodness. He did teleport back, and because there was no oncoming traffic, there is no caution. Oh, that was close. I'm going to be honest with you, I nearly threw a caution right there. I was not going to be willing to see the entire front of the field come plowing in. So that was nothing to do with Matt McIntyre. Not certain what's amiss on the Pepsi Ford. But Daniel Voiles' mechanical problem here. That is going to more than likely take him out of the race unless it's something that they can possibly repair, get him back out there to log laps. But that was a heart in the throat moment there for sure, as you just could see the leaders flying in, and all of a sudden a race that has been really good with multiple lead changes, different contenders up at the front, could have been left with a skeleton field and a bunch of drivers back in the garage area. How about 3 wide for the lead? There's former champ Caleb Fogler on the inside line. Caleb got his first career win last year, second full-time season with Blue Oval Automotive. Of course, won the championship 2 seasons ago with the 09 team with Kyle Matthews and Stephen Pollard III in Season 5. And Nick Gunther, I noticed, made his way up there. He's getting kicked up to the high side now, but furthest up to the front, Nick Gunther's been all day. Nick, a 4-time winner last season. Quentin Moore in the 89. He was, third, I believe, on the grid, and he's made his way back up to the front. And I think the strongest car of the day is back out in clean air, that being Mitchell Collins. Diagnosis in engine piston. The cause for the official retirement from this race for Daniel Voiles. Voiles was 21st in the points coming into today, and this is not going to be good for him because remember I said at the beginning of the race, if you have a good finish here today, you can gain multiple spots, even double-digit spots in the point standings. Flip side, you have a DNF today, you will free fall through the point standings, and that unfortunately is going to be the case for the driver out of World NOS Racing. Last week we had something that had never happened before with Matthew Rodriguez, a non-charter driver, winning the Daytona 500. Maybe in back-to-back weeks we can have another thing that's never happened before with Jessica Shelton's Dodge Intrepid maybe finding victory lane. S3 Motorsports looking for their third championship in a row. Matthews, Pollard, and Fogler did it season 5. Sanford, the defending champion. So now Shelton, Deaver, along with Matthews and Sanford, will look to keep that streak going. No team prior to last year had ever won more than one collective championship. And now S3 Motorsports has 2. Pit stops, here we go. Destin Bolin and Matt Haas are in. Quentin Moore came flying in there. I don't know if he's going to get it woed down in time. I guess he will. Pit road speed doesn't start till the first pit stall, and he gained a ton of track position because of that. Very aggressive onto pit road. Matt McIntyre was on pit road the lap prior. We've got some more drivers that are going to come down pit road this time. Let's see if Mitchell Collins is one of those, as he has spent 16 laps out in front. So you have to think he's at a bit of a deficit as far as fuel. Yep, he's coming in. Turner, Will Goss, Levi McIntyre. Got to get it woed down there. It's 55 miles per hour here at Manasas for pit road speed. Things a little stacked up back there, double wide, as we've got most of the field coming down this lap. Few drivers elected to still stay out, including Reggie Fogelman in the 24, Casey Hoyt in the 74. I think those might have been the only 2. Now this extra lap isn't going to gain them anything in terms of an upcoming pit stop. Everybody should be able to make it the rest of the way on this pit stop alone. Maybe take on a little less fuel. I don't really see why though, because I think you're still going to change 4 tires. This is going to get the field split up quite a bit too. So we will wait and see how that all shakes out. Oh, they're scoring right now the 80 of Matthew Rodriguez a lap down, I just noticed. Last week's winner. We'll see if that is due to potentially a pit stop or if there is something amiss on the 80 car, and can confirm it is based off the pit stop because he just passed a couple of cars moments ago. I believe this is who the lead's going to cycle out to. May take a couple of laps for the 33 to jump back up to the top of the board. Third that time by, and yeah, he would just have to pass Fogelman and Hoyt to take the lead back. Mitchell Collins looking for back-to-back victories here at Manasas. Fogelman going to cycle out maybe inside of the top 5, definitely inside of the top 10. He's going to get past there. So that moves battle for second between Jesse Turner and Destin Bolin. Quentin Moore will cycle to third. Fogelman holding up Nick Gunther there, as Miles will make his way around for 5th position. Fogelman's going to be 6th, Gunther 7th, Sustry 8th. Matthew Rodriguez is 9th, and Dollarton right now for 10th. And then you got Dylan Pote, Will Goss, Austin the Plant. I'll tell you who I'm seeing up in this lead group are a number of the drivers that came to pit road somewhat earlier. Pote was in early, Rodriguez was in early. Looks like coming down a much less congested pit road was the way to go. Mitchell Collins had the benefit of when he came to pit lane with that big pack, he was the leader. He didn't have anybody in front of him. Reggie Fogelman in the 24 was one of the last drivers to hit pit road, so it was a pretty vacated pit lane for him also. So it really looks like if you're able to come down a relatively empty pit road, it gained you a lot. As we've got, I believe, 13 cars up in this lead pack. Back to Will Goss. Then you got Casey Hoyt leading a second lane in 14th. Matt Haas, Charles Sanford, Michael Norman in this group. We'll see if this second group is able to close up. Last time by, 2.8 seconds from Hoyt up to the race leader. Let's see this time if there is an increase or a decrease in the amount of track left to make up, and it was a decrease. They gained half a second, that second pack did, down to 2.3. Hoyt, I think, might have the draft off of Quentin Moore. So that group is going to catch up, make it one big pack once again. There's Matt McIntyre. Looks like that car is up to speed, but an issue, obviously, under green flag conditions for him. Now has him trapped a lap down. Jose Mills is also a lap down in the 38, so those two will be battling for the lucky dog position should we get a caution in the final 20 laps. And the only driver, if you just joined us, out of the race is Daniel Voiles. Mechanical problem on the back straightaway that very nearly brought out a caution, very nearly could have wiped out the entire front of the field, but fortunately it did not. As Matthew Rodriguez, very familiar position for him, out in front. That's where he was the conclusion of last week's race. Dylan Poteet alongside of him there, though, looking for the top spot. I cannot remember the last time that Dylan Poteet went to victory lane. I might be wrong, but I think it was Season 2 or Season 3. It has been a long winless streak for Dylan Poteet. Granted, there were a couple of seasons that he took off before he eventually came back in Season 5. But one of two Chevrolets fielded from Fortnite Squad Racing this season. The other two cars, obviously, as we've documented, Mazdas with Gunther and McCrory. And Dylan trying to battle with Mitchell Collins for that top position. Looks like he might lose out on the lead here into 1 and 2. No, he's going to battle still on that top side there. Not going to give up. Dylan Poteet with a good start to the season last week. 7th in the Great American Race. So looking to build off of that. Casey Hoyt. Remember we checked in. He was leading that second group with Matt Haas there. The two of them are now. They've made their way inside of the top 5. Casey Hoyt looking maybe for the race lead here. Trying to remember back. I believe only one of our 6 previous winners here at Manasas was a rookie. That was William Micros back in Season 5. All the other drivers were veterans. We're not going to count Season 1 with Jose Mills because everybody was a rookie. It was all their first full-time season. So if Casey Hoyt can close out the deal, he'd be the second rookie to win here at Manasas, and he would increase the Ford streak to 7. Keith Batson up here in the 39. Keith ended up finishing 20th last week. He was a playoff contender last year, multi-time winner. Looking to build off of that here, as last year Keith Batson and KB Racing Enterprises, they were a 3-car team. Also fielded rides for Nathan Norman and then rookie Sam Ryder. Now, one entry that they have to focus on. And Keith Batson, with all the attention directed to the 39, maybe even better here this season, if that can be imagined. James Qualls now drafting up to the back bumper of Casey Hoyt. Of course, you guys know my opinion. James Qualls, I felt, should have been in the playoffs last season. Qualls and a couple of other drivers were a main reason why there were adjustments made to the criteria on how you get into the playoffs here in Season 7. Qualls finished 3rd in the Daytona 500 last week and looking for that first victory in... Oh, gracious. When was the last time Qualls went to victory lane? I know it's been at least in Season 5. He didn't win Season 5. He didn't win in Season 6. So it's at least over 2 seasons long. And it may be longer than that. Levi McIntyre is another driver that's riding a winless streak. Granted, a car that he was in went to victory lane back in Season 5, but that was NNSCRA that was behind the wheel at the time. Levi has not won since, I believe, Season 4. A very impressive run by our two go-or-go-home drivers this week that made it into the show, Matthew Rodriguez and Kyler Sustre. There they are battling for the third spot. Rodriguez in the 80 and Sustre in the 4. Well, we know that pit road will no longer be a factor. Everybody that came to pit road, that was their only stop of the day, the money stop, if you will. And now it comes down to timing, track position, momentum, whatever you want to call it here, in what's going to be the final 15 laps, 14 when we hit the line. Pit road was easy for some, not so easy for others. From 26th on back, those drivers are going to need a caution to get back into it. Zachary Fitzwater's back in a second pack there, along with Reese Banks, Laura Chung, RJ Bishop, Cole Deaver, and Anthony McCrory. Then there's a third pack consisting of Zach Rogers, Cody Lamas, Joshua Osborne, and Kyle Matthews. And then a fourth pack consisting of Ryan Brommer, our pole setter, Connor Breton, Ryan Butcher, and Carson Gum. None of those drivers I do not think are in danger of getting lapped here under green. First off, they're in too many cars of a pack that they produce enough speed to stay ahead of the front of this lead group. And secondly, I don't think there's enough laps on the board for the leader to be able to reel them in. Lap leader so far today as we close in on 10 laps to go. Bonus point looks like it's going to go to Mitchell Collins for most laps led. 18 circuits out in front. Casey Hoyt has led 5 laps, about to lead a 6th here if he can keep Matthew Rodriguez and company at bay. 4 laps led for Jesse Turner. 3 laps led apiece for Kyler Sustre and Austin LaPlante. 3 laps also led for Dylan Poteet. 2 laps led for Levi McIntyre, Nathan Ormond, Reggie Fogelman, Cole Deaver, and Joshua Osborne. And then 1 lap led apiece so far today by Benjamin Miles, James Qualls, Destin Boland, Caleb Fogler, Reese Banks, and Connor Breton. 41 of our original 42 drivers still running, 39 of them on the lead lap. Matt McIntyre, Jose Mills, the only drivers 1 lap down, and Daniel Voiles, the only driver back in the garage area as Casey Hoyt continues to show the way. He's got them stacked up behind him, double wide for second. And we were 4 wide, I think, for a brief moment there. Benjamin Miles, Mitchell Collins, Jessica Shelton, Charles Sanford, they were all looking 4 wide through 1 and 2. Unfortunately, made it unscathed. They were able to settle it out. Matthew Rodriguez looking for his 2nd straight victory to start out the season as a go-or-go-home non-chartered ride. Casey Hoyt, last year we had, 5 or 6 rookies that went to victory lane, got their first career wins. Casey Hoyt looking to maybe begin that trend here this season, though there's only 4 full-time rookies in, 4 full-time rookies overall. We got a couple of other rookies that run on a part-time schedule. Hoyt, Breton, Goss, and Sustre are the only drivers battling for Rookie of the Year honors on a full-time basis here in Season 7. And it just kind of seems right now like Matthew Rodriguez in 2nd place cannot get enough of a run on Casey Hoyt to be able to make a charge unless he's just riding for the moment. Can't ride for too long because Rob Evans, Dylan Poteet, Keith Batson, some of these drivers back here might have something to say about that race lead and that race win. Michael Norman with a big charge up the inside there, 3 wide. Going to pick up 6th position off of both Benjamin Miles and Levi McIntyre. Matthew Rodriguez slipping up. Evans shows the nose. Rob Evans going for the race lead. Rob Evans has been in the Duracell Cup Series for a number of seasons, but still looking for that first career win. He's got a non-charter victory back in Season 4 at Indianapolis Road Course, but still has never won in a chartered race. As Keith Batson taking it to the inside of him allows Matthew Rodriguez to go back mano-a-mano against the body armor Ford Mustang of Casey Hoyt. Casey Hoyt just jumped up as the second driver to lead double-digit laps today with 10. And this time around, it will be 7 laps to go. Keith Batson on the charge. He got Rob Evans for third. He looks to get second here from Matthew Rodriguez. Gonna try and make quick work of the Steak and Shake Toyota Camry. I think he'll have him cleared off of turn number 2. Let's see what kind of momentum he can get down the back straightaway. Oh, we got a wreck! Big wreck! Kyler Sustre up and over. Nathan Ormond up and over. Charles Sanford is involved in the 0-3. Caution waves. I don't know if we're going to get a restart. Wild wreck off of turn number 2. Rookie Will Goss collected up in that one. Mitchell Collins, the dominant car of the day. Nick Gunther, I think, got a piece. Jessica Shelton is slow. Caleb Fogler in the 28 is slow. Oh my gosh. Caution is out for the first time today. It's within 10 laps to go. And Batson got the lead coming back to the line from Casey Hoyt. So if the race ends under caution, it's Keith Batson's win, but I think we might get back green. Let's go back and take a look and see what just happened. I didn't even see how that got triggered. I just all of a sudden saw the 23 and the 4 flipping up into the air. Were they 4 wide coming off of turn 2, perhaps? Here's a look at it back. Oh, yeah, just really tight there. Caleb Fogler kind of pinned Sustre down, and oh, wow. They glitched together. That's what popped them up into the air the way it did. Oh my gosh. Nowhere for Charles Sanford or Nick Gunther to be able to go. Kyler Sustre went for a wild ride. Let's rewind it back again. Matt McIntyre, by the way, got the lucky dog under this caution. So he'll be back on the lead lap. Here it is again. Yeah, the 23 kind of merged into the 4. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've never seen that before. Caleb Fogler involved. Look at Sanford get hooked up into the air. Collins. Will Goss nowhere to go. That is maybe one of the weirdest wrecks I've ever seen. It's taking Kyler Sustre out of the race. Let's see if we can get another camera angle of it here. Oh, this will be a good camera shot. Watch the 23. I don't know even what causes this. Look how he merges into the 4. That is so weird. And then when their hitboxes merge, the two of them pop up into the air. They kind of grab onto each other. Oh, Austin LaPlante, the 48, got a piece of that. I didn't see him involved. Caleb Fogler, I'm pretty sure, got a piece. Shelton was slow, but I don't think she was involved. Matter of fact, let's go on board with the McDonald's Dodge. No, she's still slow. Okay, well, actually, I don't think she was involved, but she may have looked slow because she slowed down for the wreck. Remember we had like a 3rd or 4th pack back there? Maybe that group had caught her, and that's why it looked like she was slow. Here's on board with the McDonald's Dodge Intrepid. Yeah, she was never involved. She got through it. A little contact there with Caleb Fogler, but then you had Reese Banks and company barreling in that had been a long ways back, and that's why Shelton looks so slow. You're going to see right here. Here they come flying by. They're still at speed. She had to slow for the wreck. So that explains that. That's a big break for a lot of those guys that were back there as well in that 3rd and 4th pack. This catches them back up. And as I said, Matt McIntyre gets the lucky dog, so he'll have the opportunity to maybe improve his finishing position if we go back green. It's a big if. It's going to be 3 to go this time by. If the lights go out, we got a green-white checkered. If they don't, we would have a 1-lap shootout potentially. Multiple drivers coming down pit road, getting some damage repair done, including Mitchell Collins, Will Goss, both on pit road. Kyler Sustre came down pit lane, but he brought his car to the garage area. Tough break there for his first career start after qualifying in as a go-or-go-home driver. Great showing today. out in front for 3 laps, up inside the top 5 there in the closing stages. Started drifting back and then involved in that 4-wide situation. Will suffer a DNF. We'll look to qualify into next week's race at Las Vegas as the lights are out atop the Toyota Camry pace car. And we should be doubling up here, more than likely on the back straightaway or going into turn number 3. Reminder, next week, doubleheader. Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers are back for their second race of the season. They'll join the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll have Cup Series qualifying and the Lights race on Saturday and the Cup race on Sunday. Way they line up for this restart, which will be a green-white checker 2-lap shootout. Keith Batson, the leader. Casey Hoyt will be second. James Qualls will line up third. Benjamin Miles fourth. Dylan Young completes top 5. Daytona 500 winner Matthew Rodriguez will be 6th. 7th, Jesse Turner. Michael Norman's going to be 8th. 9th, Reggie Fogelman. And Rob Evans will complete the top 10. They were supposed to double up, but it doesn't look like they are. I may have ended up starting up the Better Cautions EXC a little too late. So that's my error. So it looks like it will be a single file restart. That's a shame, but nonetheless, it's how it's going to be here. I'm not going to go back and redo the entire race because this has been a really good race, actually. So here we go. Single file restart. Let's see if Keith Batson can hold them off for 4 miles. Green flag back in the air. Next time by, white flag, unless we have a caution here, in which case it'd be raced back to the checkers and the white flag. James Qualls to the inside for second on Casey Hoyt. Benjamin Miles going to follow in his tire tracks. He'll look for third. Dylan Young there in the 5th spot. Turner now going to look for that position. He dives low on the 2. And Qualls going to keep the momentum up. He'll go to the inside of Keith Batson through 3 and 4. James Qualls in the 70. Looking to get back to victory lane. Rookie Casey Hoyt on his back bumper. Qualls sees the white flag. What is Casey Hoyt going to do? He's going to get to the inside of Qualls. Can Qualls hold him off? Don't think he's going to be able to, but he might be able to tuck in line here in front of Jesse Turner and have a shot at Hoyt over here in 3 and 4. Turner's got a lot of momentum, though. Does he dive to the inside of Qualls? Yes, he will. Maybe try to play some defense for his teammate. Qualls tried to block him, couldn't do it. Casey Hoyt off turn 4 for the final time. His teammate going to challenge him for this lead coming to the stripe. Turner, can he get him at the line? No, he can't. Oh, he was so close. But Casey Hoyt is going to get his first career victory here today at Manasas. Second rookie to win at Manasas. 7th straight Ford Mustang to win here at this 2-miler. And Casey Hoyt, just like that, did he just clinch himself a playoff spot as a rookie? Who knows? What a tough break there for Jesse Turner. That's the 2nd straight week that he's finished runner-up. Last week to Matthew Rodriguez, who puts it on the podium, by the way, in 3rd position. And then this week, by 16 1/1000ths to his rookie teammate, Casey Hoyt. Well done, though, to that 74 car. Coming into this season, we knew absolutely nothing about Casey Hoyt. And much kind of like the Destin Bolin effect last year, he's letting us know exactly who he is as he gets the early victory here in Season 7. Race standings should be official. Let's see if we can document that. As Casey Hoyt with the win, Jesse Turner in 2nd. That's a 1-2 finish for Lake Effect Autosport today. Matthew Rodriguez may keep the points lead. It's going to be close between him and Jesse Turner because those two are 1-2 after Daytona last week. Qualls right there as well. Turner, Rodriguez, and Qualls back-to-back top 5s to start out the season. Well done to them. And for Rodriguez, remember, he's a non-charter driver, so he's going to stay up inside the top 10. How about that? Let's see, next week we're at Las Vegas. I think Roberto Crown Jr. is in the 80s, so Rodriguez will be over in the 17 next week. Rob Evans, after he qualified up on the outside of the front row, brings it home with a top 5 run. Well done to him. Michael Norman, who was top 10 last week, he gets 6th. Back-to-back 6th place finishes for Michael Norman, actually, and back-to-back 7th place finishes for Dylan Pote to start out the season. Matt Haas, well-needed run for him after he finished 40th last week at Daytona. He'll get 8th. Benjamin Miles, a well-needed run for him. He was 30th in points. He'll get 9th, and Dylan Young was 31st in points. He's going to get a top 10 run. So a couple of drivers there, a trio of drivers that really needed good performances to counter the bad runs they had last week at Daytona. They get him here today. Keith Batson led us to that final restart, or only restart, I should say, of the day. He'll get 11th. Reggie Fogelman 12th. Levi McIntyre, Chris Dollerton, and Reese Banks going to complete the top 15. Then it was Destin Bolin, Zachary Fitzwater, Quentin Moore, Laura Chung, and Austin LaPlante, the top 20. Look down through the remainder of the finishing results from this one. Matt McIntyre, he did gain a couple of spots there on that final restart. He would have finished in 39th or 38th, I believe. And he ended up finishing in 32nd, so gained a couple of positions there. And then you see most of the drivers back behind him that were involved in some way, shape, or form with that last and only caution of the day. Will Goss, Mitchell Collins, Caleb Vogler, Charles Sanford, Zach Rogers, Carson Gum. I believe the 6 and the 19 had restart violations, and they had to come to pit road in the closing stages. They finished last cars on the lead lap. Jose Mills 1 lap down, the last car to finish in 39th, and then Kyler Sustre, Nathan Ormond out of the race after our only caution. Daniel Voiles, mechanical problem midway through the race, finishes in 42nd position. Well, a wild one here today at Manasas, and how about Ford? Ford Mustangs. 7 races here in Duracell Cup Series history, 7 victories, with 7 different drivers as well. Today, the second rookie to pick up a checkered flag at this 2-mile speedway. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race, though, from Manasas. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to part of the crew today. We showed you your full feature results, and you're now looking at your point standings heading into next week, where again it's the doubleheader, the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers and the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series drivers live from Las Vegas. Those races going to be coming to you Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to tune in for that. But for here at Manasas, I've been Seth Cole. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week as you've been watching yet another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV. Offline racing at its best.